Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here, and welcome to today's pregame report between the Edmonton Oilers and the Seattle Kraken. It is a rematch from these two teams that played each other literally less than a week ago. They played each other last Saturday. The Oilers came out on top in a 4-0 victory. Stuart Skinner was in the crease for that game, and he got the shutout. And then Stu followed that up with a good game against Minnesota, only gave up one goal against. So naturally, Chris Knoblauch goes, hey, my starting goaltender has only given up one goal in his last two starts. Better change it up and put Calvin Pickard in tonight because, yes, Calvin Pickard is actually the one getting the start against Seattle tonight for some reason. I'm not really sure I understand the logic in this. Calvin Pickard, statistically the worst goalie in the league, has a goals against average of 4.04, a save percentage of .847 this season. Now, maybe maybe the logic here is Seattle doesn't generate a lot of offense. They don't generate a lot of high danger chances. Their team really does struggle to put the puck in the net. So maybe this is a confidence builder for Calvin Pickard. But at the end of the day, I don't know, man. I think you got to ride the hot hand. And Stuart Skinner, he's been the hot hand. He's had two really good starts in a row. Not sure I understand the logic here from Chris Knoblauch. We'll see if it pays off. If it doesn't, obviously we're going to have a lot to discuss in the post-game fan reaction tonight. But there's a lot to discuss in today's pregame report first. So if you end up enjoying this video, hit that like button. If you really like it, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. And let's get right into it. We'll go over the projected lineups. We'll go over the stats, keys to the game, players to watch, score prediction. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's take a look at the projected lineup for your Edmonton Oilers. There's a couple changes to this lineup from the last time these two teams played. We have Nugent Hopkins now on the top line with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. A couple years ago, this was a line that was one of the best at 5-on-5 in the entire NHL. Last season, they were okay together, and this season, they haven't really played together at all. And I think for Chris Knoblauch, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I think he's just trying to get his game going a bit. I think they're trying to get Zach Hyman going as well. And maybe this is also to try and spark Connor McDavid too, because McDavid has not really been producing a whole lot as of late. He hasn't been shooting the puck as much. He's been deferring to teammates, and maybe if McDavid is with very familiar line mates like Nugent Hopkins and Zach Hyman, who he has played a ton of ice time with over the past couple of seasons here in Oil Country, that'll get his game going. I'm not against this at all by any means. I think Nugent Hopkins at this point in his career, I think he is better suited to be a winger. I don't know if he's better suited on the top line or not. I think the Oilers as a team, though, are stronger when Nuge is down the middle. But for the player himself, for Nugent Hopkins to be able to generate offense and be a complementary piece to others, I don't mind him on the top line playing left wing tonight. Of course, it probably won't matter because depending on what the score is after the first period, all these lines are going to get shuffled anyways because that's what Chris Knoblauch likes to do. On the second line, you have Vasily Podkolzin with Leon Draisaitl and Matthew Savoy. Yes, Savoy has been bumped down one line to Draisaitl's wing, and Savoy played on the right wing. We saw this a couple games last year, Savoy with Draisaitl. I like the look of this line. I really hope Chris Knoblauch gives this line a little bit of a leash, a little bit of leeway to try and find some chemistry, because if they can find some chemistry, it's a great line, at least on paper. Savoy has the speed. He has the offensive instincts to play with Leon Draisaitl. Podkolzin, he creates a lot of space for everyone when he's on the ice himself, his physicality, and Podkolzin has an underrated shot. I'd like to see him use his shot just a little bit more this season. And Leon Draisaitl, of course, he's been kind of the offensive driver this season in terms of goal scoring, although he's kind of slowed down as of late. Would like to see him get going a little bit more. But you know who really needs to get going a little bit more? Literally anyone not named McDavid and Draisaitl. The bottom six at this point, we got to get something. I don't care if they're not being scored on. They have to start producing something. Now, the third line, you have Janmark with Henrique and Mangiapane. I actually thought those three were three of the Oilers' better players against the Minnesota Wild. They were all contributing meaningfully in the offensive zone. They had good chances. Their expected goals was fantastic. And I don't mind that Chris Knoblauch has put this line together. A lot of people are going to scoff at Janmark on the third line, playing with Henrique, who has really lost a step in terms of his foot speed, and Mangiapane, who hasn't really been able to produce anything offensively over the past several weeks now after getting off to a pretty good start with the club. Mangiapane also a team worst -17. That is no good, but let's see if this third line can generate something. I think this is going to be their checking line. They're going to try and put this up against Seattle's top line tonight, which will likely feature Jordan Eberle in some capacity. And for the Oilers, if you get some offense out of the third line, that is a bonus. Same with the fourth line, right? You have Clattenburg with Lazar and Trent Frederick. Now, Chris Knoblauch, he's been talking about Trent Frederick trying to get his game going, and then he follows that up by playing Frederick only 8 minutes against Minnesota. So are you trying to get his game going, or are you punishing the player for not playing well and not deserving the ice time? Trent Frederick, he's been very humble about what's been going on with his game. He understands that he's getting a low amount of ice time because he knows he isn't deserving of a lot more ice time, because he does have to start producing here. Curtis Lazar, I like him on the penalty kill. I actually think he's played a pretty good last couple of games that he's been in the lineup. No issues with me with Lazar in the lineup. Connor Clattenburg, he only played about 4.5 minutes. I think it was 4 minutes, 44 seconds against Minnesota Wild. He had one neutral zone turnover, and Chris Knobloch went, one turnover. Oh, we can't have you playing. You're under the age of 26, right? And you had a turnover. All right, you don't get to play anymore. We are giving you one shift in the second, one shift in the third period. Have fun with that, Connor. Listen, Chris Knobloch, play the kid, right? It doesn't hurt playing a guy like Clattenburg right now. Clattenburg, he's not there for the offense. He's there to provide energy. He's there to provide a bit of a physical boost to the team. And when he's on the ice, generally good things have been happening in a pretty small sample size. The team does generate chances. They are in the neutral zone or offensive zone much more than they are in the defensive zone with Connor Clattenburg on the ice. Play the kid, see what that fourth line can do, see if Clattenburg and Frederick together can kind of unlock something. I'd love to see it. If they could find some confidence and get their game going, that would be fantastic. And then David Tomaszek, he is the odd forward out. When it comes to the defense, you have Ekholm with Bouchard. That is the Oilers' top defense pair, and they've played like a top defense pair for a couple of games now. But again, they got to keep it going. Bouchard, his outlet passing has been great. He saved a sure goal against Minnesota when Stuart Skinner came flying out of his crease. Evan Bouchard was sitting in the blue paint. He stopped the puck from going into the net, and love to see that. Love to see the defensive play from Bouch there. Would like to see a little bit more offense. Would like to see him maybe hit the net on the power play. And if the Oilers have the goalie pulled and they're down and they're trying to tie the game, I'd like to see him not shoot the puck 10 feet over the net. Evan Bouchard's control on his slap shot this season is something that's got to be worked on here. Bouchard, he misses the net a lot. I'd like to see him start just blow it through someone, right? As hard as you can. I don't care who it hits. I don't care what it goes off of. Get that thing to the net and hope it goes in. On the second pair, you have Nurse with Regula. Now, Alec Regula, he's still shaky to me. He's still pretty shaky. He had a decent amount of ice time after the first two periods against Mini, and then in the third period, his ice time got cut as the team was shortening their bench, trying to generate offense and get another goal. Also, Alec Regula, fun fact, he has not been on the ice for a single goal for at 5-on-5. Yes, when Alec Regula is on the ice, the Oilers have scored 0 goals at 5-on-5. At some point, you got to get something from Alec Regula, whether he is contributing to the offense or not. You need something because the team believed in him enough to put Troy Stecher on waivers. Stecher was the odd man out. Stecher goes to Toronto. The other night, he has 1 goal, 1 assist. Stecher, 24 minutes time on ice, was, I think, the second star in that Leafs game against Florida. Listen, I like Regula. Do I think he deserved to be on the roster after training camp? Yes. Do I think he played a great first 2 games of his NHL career? Yes. But ever since he was out of the lineup with a likely concussion, when he came back a couple weeks ago, he just hasn't looked the same. He looks tentative when he goes into the corners. His foot speed does not look anything like it did during preseason. Not that he's a fast skater, but Alec Regula, he really has to get going here, and I'm rooting for him. I like this player a lot. I see the potential there for a really, really good two-way, mostly shutdown defenseman, but you got to get something on offense, especially if you're playing with a player like Darnell Nurse, who does like to try and generate a little bit of offense for the team. And then on the third pair, you have Kulak with Emberson. Brett Kulak, his game is starting to calm down a little bit. He was looking really, really shaky until about 2-3 games ago. Brett Kulak, Ty Emberson, they're starting to kind of figure it out together. I think Ty Emberson, honestly, has been Edmonton's most consistent defender. He's also the only defenseman on the team that is a plus rating right now, and not the plus minus is a huge factor for me, but listen, when you're the only guy in the entire defense core that is a plus player, that kind of does mean something, I would think. Ty Emberson, he's been solid. Would like to see a little bit more from him, obviously. Brett Kulak is who we really need to start seeing more from moving forward. Now, in goal, it says Stuart Skinner on the screen here, but it is Calvin Pickard getting the start, so don't worry about that. It is Calvin Pickard with the start. And still out of the lineup, Noah Philp, long-term injured reserve. Jake Wallman did not skate. Roslovic, he's out long-term. Kapanen long-term until at least after Christmas for both Roslovic and Kapanen, I would imagine, which is unfortunate because Roslovic, he has been an energy guy. He's also producing a lot of offense for the team. And you can tell when Roslovic's not in the lineup, you can tell how difficult it is for the Oilers to generate offense. We saw it against Minnesota. A lot of perimeter play. This team's got to start generating something from the inside. Now, for the Kraken, their record is 11-7-6. They're fifth in the Pacific Division. They are 4-4-2, and they have not played anyone since they played the Oilers last Saturday. The Seattle Kraken have had 4 days off. They are going to be well rested, and I would imagine Seattle, they're going to try and get the jump on Edmonton early. Their power play ranks 22nd. Their penalty kill is abysmal, ranks 31st. Their goals per game, also abysmal, ranks 31st. Goals against per game, fantastic. Shots for percentage, not very good, 30th. Expected goals for, terrible. Save percentage has been very, very good, though, for the Kraken. Now, looking at the Edmonton Oilers side, oh my goodness gracious, they have some good stats, some bad stats. Power play ranks 3rd, penalty kill ranks 15th, goals per game ranks 15th, goals against per game ranks 29th, expected goals for ranks 21st, shots for percentage ranks 8th, and their team save percentage ranks 32nd. The Edmonton Oilers need some saves, they need some power play goals, they need that penalty kill to remain strong. But at the end of the day, it's their 5-on-5 play that has to improve significantly. The Oilers are currently 6th in the Pacific Division. They only have 4 wins in their last 10 games. It has been an up and down season for Edmonton. They seem to win one, then they lose one. Then they win one, then they lose one. This team has to start getting on a roll. This is game 2 of a 5-game homestand. You got to get at least 6 points on the homestand, which means at minimum, they have to win 3 of the next 4 games on home ice. If they do not do that, this homestand is a failure in my opinion. You got to get a win. And you got to get a win against a team like Seattle. No offense to Seattle Kraken fans. I mean, no disrespect. Seattle is not a good team. Every metric on the planet shows that they're not a good team. They don't generate offense. Their special teams is terrible. Their expected goals is terrible. But their save percentage is very good. And Seattle is pretty good at limiting those high danger chances. For the Oilers, see if you can find a way to get into the inner slot, the high slot, and for goodness sakes, Connor McDavid, if you cut by a defender and you have a lane to the net, just cut to the net, man. Stop deferring to teammates. I don't care if McDavid has 10 or 11 shots on goal tonight. You think a guy like Ovechkin cared earlier in his career how many times he was shooting the puck towards the net? No, absolutely not. Shoot the puck. McDavid, you scored 64 goals one year. Also, if this team scores some goals tonight, I want to see them have some fun. I want to see them look like they're having fun. Ovechkin last night, listen, Ovechkin, greatest goal scorer in NHL history. Over 900 goals in his career. When he scored against San Jose, he was acting like it was his first goal of his career. The excitement, the energy. He loves scoring goals. In the National Hockey League, that is the hardest thing to do, is put the puck in the net. Any goal that the Oilers get tonight, I want to see the boys look happy. I want to see them look like they're having fun. They look miserable when they score a goal. That's just, I don't know what's going on. Playing the game is supposed to be fun. Practice is not supposed to be fun. The off-ice, video room conferences and the off-ice workouts, that's not the fun part. The fun part about hockey is playing in the games. I want to see the Oilers look like they're having some fun because they look miserable, and it's not fun to watch as a fan either. You can feel that. You can feel it coming through the screen. I want to see the Oilers generate offense and have a little bit of fun tonight. Now, when it comes to the keys to the game for the Edmonton Oilers, number 1, they have to start generating more high-danger chances than they have been. I know they controlled a lot of the possession and puck play versus Minnesota, but they didn't generate a lot of high-danger chances. Against Seattle, it's going to be difficult because Seattle does defend well, but for Edmonton, that is a key to the game. Generate more high-danger chances. Number 2, don't give the Kraken anything easy. There are going to be chances against throughout the game. That's the ebbs and flows of ice hockey, but if Seattle is getting opportunities, don't let them have the second and third opportunities. Take those away. And Calvin Pickard, of course, has to make the saves. We need a minimum save percentage of 900 tonight if the Oilers are going to have a chance to win, especially since the offense looks a little shaky right now without Roslovic. They're going to need Calvin Pickard to make some saves. Now, for the Seattle Kraken, there are 3 keys to the game. Number 1, they need a full team effort. They are missing some key players, including Mason Marchment, who is not going to be in the lineup tonight after kind of stirring the pot against the Oilers in the last game. Draisaitl threw an elbow at him. Marchment threw a big hit on Darnell Nurse. Of course, Marchment was also the one that injured Zach Hyman during the playoffs for the Dallas Stars last season. So no Marchment tonight. A couple other players on Seattle will not be available. For the Kraken, It's by committee. They got to find a way. Someone either on the top line or fourth line has got to generate some offense for them. This is a team that does struggle to generate offense, so they're really going to have to be like zoned in right from puck drop to win this hockey game. Number 2 for the Kraken, they have one of the worst penalty kills in the league. They have to stay disciplined. If they even take 2 penalties tonight, that could be a disaster, and that could be the difference between a win and a loss. And number 3, they have to stay patient. With the Edmonton Oilers, if you stay patient against them, they will make mistakes. Seattle, they may try and play a patient game. They're probably not going to want to open it up. No back and forth hockey. They're going to stay patient, wait for their opportunities. Now, my players to watch, Nugent Hopkins for the Oilers. He is a -11 on the season, but he is a point per game. He does have 18 points in 18 games, but he is a -11. That is worst among the forward group other than Andrew Mangiapane. But Nuge, he's my player to watch because he's on that top line with McDavid. And then Jordan Eberle is my player to watch for the Seattle Kraken. He is tied with Jaden Schwartz for the team lead in goals. And if Seattle's going to win, Eberle is going to have to produce a little bit for them. Now, when it comes to my score prediction, what is the score prediction going to be, folks? I'm going 4-3 Oilers in overtime with a Trent Frederic goal. I got a good feeling about Trent Frederic tonight. There's something about Frederic lately that I'm like, I think this is where his game is going to start turning it around. Maybe I'm coping. Maybe I'm huffing that copium a little bit too hard right now. But I do believe in Trent Frederic. I do believe he can get going here. And I do think the Oilers are going to win this hockey game. Game note as well, before we wrap things up, the Oilers have won 10 of their last 12 games versus the Kraken. Draisaitl has 4 goals and 11 assists in his last 7 games versus Seattle. That is over 2 points per game. Leon Draisaitl has been an absolute Kraken killer, and he's going to have to be tonight if the Oilers are going to win this hockey game. Thank you all so much for listening or tuning in wherever you're from. Thank you all. You are the best fans on the planet. I could not thank you enough. I'll see you all in the post-game fan reaction. No live stream tonight. I'll do a live stream on Saturday for the game against Winnipeg Hockey Night in Canada. Tonight, we're going to watch the game, and then I'm going to do the post-game fan reaction, so make sure you tune into that. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell so that you're notified of every upload, and we'll see you soon, Oil Country. Tell someone that you love them before the game tonight, and as always, fight like a kid, fight like Ben. Let's go, Oilers. I'll see you later.